All right. Welcome to the Scotty P podcast. I'm here with JB Betchloff. Am I saying?
Betchloff, yeah, whatever
Betchloff?
works. It's all.
Cool. What's your first name? I just know you as JB.
My first name's Jonathan.
Jonathan.
There's too many
Gotcha.
little
John.
white kids named Jonathan where I grew up, so they just went
Well,
JB.
JB is a much cooler name.
Easy. I appreciate it.
So man, I got to train with you the other day. You beat me up. Yeah, dude, you're really good at jiu-jitsu, and thank you for being on the podcast.
Dude, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you kind of came out of nowhere, man. It seemed like just in the social media eye is like out of nowhere, you're just training with B team
Yeah.
and competing all the time. So if you want to give our artists kind of like a little background of like your journey and how you came to be.
Yeah, for sure. So I started off, I was in Dallas, Texas. I was doing Muay Thai, Saxon Janjira Muay Thai, super high level Muay Thai gym. And I was doing that for a while, and there was a guy that was teaching jiu-jitsu in the front, and he kept trying to get me to do the class. And I was like, oh, I want to strike, like grappling's for wussies, whatever.
I don't know
And
about that grab and stuff.
yeah, I was like, I don't know, bro. Everybody looks really tired when they leave, you know what I mean? And then he was like, come on, just do one class, roll with my wife. If you hate it, like whatever, don't do it again. And like his wife is like, she's like a supermodel. She's like beautiful. You would never assume that but she's a badass. She was like a world champion at blue belt already. She was super good. I had no idea. And I roll with her and she kills me, bro. She guillotined me like maybe 100 times in 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, maybe I should learn this stuff. So then I started doing jiu-jitsu with him, and his name was Eddie Ricardo. That was just in Plano, Texas. And it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday gi, Tuesday, Thursday no gi, kind of like a lot of schools are like that, I feel like. And then from there, I was started to do IBJJFs. I ran into some really tough guys like from Brazil, and I would lose to them in the finals, and I would come back to my gym and I'd be like, how do I deal with this? And then got to a point where like I couldn't get my questions answered. So I started branching out, looking for other training. Next thing I know, I'm training with soul fighters under Bruno Tanquinho. And it was at Corvo Jiu-Jitsu. A couple of good guys have come out of there. Dominic Ramos, shout out, just got second place at Nogi Worlds, brown belt, middleweight.
Yeah, I see them all the
super
time
tough.
competing.
Yeah. So I was there for a while. And then I was still doing the gi and no-gi. And then I was getting ready for gi pans. And after I had backtrack a little bit, I competed at Nogi Worlds 2019, and I got third place at brown belt. And Andrew Wiltsey just slayed the division, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And we're just after the tournament, we're waiting to take our picture on the podium. We're just talking and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, come out and visit." Blah blah. And then like a couple weeks later, next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Heath Pedigo, the guy who runs it over there, and he's like telling me things about my game that I didn't even no, really. And I'm like, hey, that's true. And he's like, why don't you come out, train with us for a year? And if you hate it, then, you know, whatever, no hard feelings. And I was like, all right. So I went out there to do a camp for gi pans, and then COVID happened. So I was like, oh shit. So pans was canceled, and I was scared to come home because I was living with my parents at the time. I didn't want to get them sick. I didn't know how serious this stuff was, or like, I was like, oh, I'm going to go train and then come back. I'm for sure going to give it to them. You know what I mean? So I stayed at Daisy Fresh for about 5 months, ended up tearing my MCL out there. And eventually when that happened, I came home. And when I came home, I wasn't welcome back at Corvo per se, because I kind of like left for Daisy Fresh. So then I went over to Marcus Antelantes, and I was training mostly in the gi, competing a lot in the gi. I was doing like IBJJFs every month, just ripping them out. And then B Team opened up applications, and I was like, fuck it, why not? Applied, didn't expect to hear anything. Next thing I know, I have a direct message from Craig. He's like, when can you move? And I'm like, what? This is crazy. So I'm like, give me 2 weeks. And then me and the missus moved out here and started off just coming in, and then eventually worked my way to get a job at the front desk, and then just kept training. And now I'm teaching the fundamentals class every night. And then here we are.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, move for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Pretty much. I just figured it was such a good opportunity. And the way they advertised it at first was that like it was going to be limited opportunity. So I was like, I better get out there early. And I think it was a good decision because I ended up getting in with the boys, you know?
Yeah.
It worked out well. Yeah, one of the crew for sure.
Awesome, dude. Well, yeah, man, bold move to take your wife and leave and come out here to Austin for who knows what. So
Yeah, right.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we rolled, and well, it makes now that you told me your story. Now it makes a lot of sense. Like you've been a brown belt for a minute, a lot of
Yeah, long
competitions.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, how long exactly?
Well, I got my brown belt like 2 weeks before that. Nogi Worlds was my first tournament at brown belt, and I ended up placing. It was probably the
Dang.
best thing I've done at brown belt. And then, yeah, since then, since 2019.
Okay, so 2019. So yeah, like 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
And I can tell
no.
they're in no rush here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if Nicky Rod's a brown belt, I'm like, oh shit. Like, I got a ways to go, I guess,
Yeah,
but
yeah. And yeah, and the new standard now is like just the way that with the effect that Danner is having on it.
yeah,
And yeah,
dude,
obviously the Nicky
nuts.
Rod brothers, it's like
Yeah, bro. Well,
it
Jay's
doesn't
a
even
purple.
yeah, Jay's a purple.
I'm like, what am I gonna do? What
It's
am
yeah,
I
yeah.
gonna do?
It's like now it doesn't even matter if you're possibly the best athlete in your weight or at your belt level, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
can
oh, did
still
you win trials?
yeah. Yeah,
We'll give you a belt when you win trials. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe, right?
We'll see how you do in the first round.
Right. Exactly, bro. High standards here for sure.
And man, that's the way it should be, dude. You know, it's like just over time we have seen the degradation of jiu-jitsu. So it's like it's cool to see that there are people willing to keep the standard really high. You
For
know?
sure, for sure.
It's like, why would you want a belt if to everyone in the industry doesn't respect you for it?
Yeah, it's meaningless.
Yeah,
Then
it's
why?
like-
Yeah, why have it? Yeah, exactly. But also in Nogi, you kind of realize the belts don't mean much in here.
yeah. Yeah. That's like a thing that you know, once you start to learn is like, one, there really is no belts. And everyone says that and you hear that a lot, but you know, when you truly experience it, that there's white belts out there that are absolute savages.
Yeah, bro. Like they wrestled Division 1, and it's like, oh my god, this guy's such a freak athlete, and he's so good at like with his mat awareness. And like even if he doesn't know any jiu-jitsu, he still has an ability to pass guard and like hold you down and pin you and stuff. It's crazy.
You know? And then there's black belt level people that are at purple belt, blue belt. There's definitely blue belts out there that are just that'll eat anybody.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Yeah.
I've gotten to a point now is like, because now that Nogi's taken over, I try to go to a lot of Nogi open mats, and then there you just don't know who's people's belt,
Yeah.
what belts people are, and then to me it's kind of like it's almost like a degradation if I ask what belt you are.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's like a give on you know, a stance of power. You know, it's like I don't care what belt because they really don't matter.
Yeah. It's
But
like,
if you
how
beat
long
now,
have
if
you
you
been training?
yeah,
Yeah.
but if you beat my ass, then maybe. And it's like even then, I still try not to. The only person I've asked at all recently was what's his name? Man, it's leaving me right now. Sean Magnus.
Oh
At
yeah.
10th Planet.
He's a beast.
Yeah, dude.
Total beast.
I didn't know what belt he was. Well,
What is he?
he's a brown belt,
Oh shit. I didn't
and
even know that.
he beat the brakes off me.
I mean,
Like,
dude, he's
dude
a
subbed me
dog.
like 3 times.
Absolute dog.
Yeah, yeah, and then afterwards, casually took another wrestler down like 10 times in a row.
Oh.
Like they were just like mixing it up. And
You
then-
see his last MMA fight?
yeah,
Knocked
Hey,
dude out with a head kick.
yeah.
The guy can do
Hey,
it all.
kicked that dude into a different dimension.
Yeah.
I
The guy can
was
do
like,
it
why
all.
is he on the undercard?
Yeah,
Someone messed
but-
up here.
I think it's only his like second fight or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's pretty new in the MMA game, but he's a dog for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, no, he beat me up so bad. I was like, dude, what belt are you? And he was like, brown. I was like, we're supposed to be the same level.
Yeah.
Goddamn. You know.
Styles make matchups though, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And I'm sure you'll make your adjustments and come back and be a nightmare.
I'm
for
definitely on another level than I was on the last time that we rolled. And two, I also was like playing, like, you know, I didn't know who he was. I was
Yeah.
just like,
You're being a little
let's see what you
playful.
got.
Yeah,
and he
not the
put
right
me in
guy.
the darks, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not letting you
Yeah,
grab my neck.
you can't be playful with Sean, dude. No way.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, man. So again, like the whole vibe of this podcast, I try to keep it is, you know, about being a warrior and, you know, just that warrior life, the ethics, the persona. And yeah, I overheard you talking to someone else the last time I was here training, that you were considering, you're jumping into the firefighter school and trying to be a firefighter. So I have a lot of respect for that. You know, for those who don't know, I was a Marine for 7-8 years, and that's just always been, it's like, you know, we don't deserve this life. So, you know, it means a lot when someone is willing to serve others in a capacity that's dangerous. So yeah, man, you kind of want to tell me about like your decision to do that or why you're doing it?
Yeah. So I'm 30. I'll be 31 in April. I've been grappling for like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jiu-jitsu for like at least a decade. I was wrestling in college for like 6 of those. So, but jiu-jitsu is definitely done in the off season and stuff like that. It's not like I stopped doing jiu-jitsu, period. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've competed against a ton of really tough guys, and I get to train with the best guys every day. And I guess I got to a point where I just feel like semi-content, and competition isn't something that like necessarily drives or motivates me anymore. And I'm ready to make some money, but still be able to train at like semi full time and teach here at B Team. I'm really enjoying that. And then, I just think that, again, you want to help others. I want to help my parents. They're retired now. I want to get the benefits, the insurance, and make enough money to help them out. Yeah, just ready to kind of like move to that next phase of my life.
Hell yeah, dude. That's that's very mature, decision to make because, a lot of people get caught up in
Yeah.
chasing the chase.
I do not want to be like these MMA fighters that should have stopped and then they didn't, and then serious injuries happen and stuff like that. Actually, like my first coach, he was competing at he's already got a school, wife, kids. He's competing at a Naga, and some guy pulls guard into his knee.
Damn.
Absolutely destroys his whole leg, like tore every major ligament in his knee, like his foot was destroyed, like everything. And I just think about stuff like that, and I'm like, bro, I'm already where I want to be. I just got to film a DVD with BJJ Fanatics. Silver medal slide bys should be coming out soon. I'm here training with the best guys every day. I get to work at one of the best gyms in the world. Like everything's going really good. And the last thing I want is to have some catastrophic injury that's going to prevent me from being able to train for like the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Because ultimately I love training. I love getting out here, getting my heart rate up, having fun with the boys, stuff like this. Super awesome. I'm not super interested in getting injured. And the closer that I got to the top level guys, I realized what it's going to take to be one of those guys. And I was like, man, I don't know if that's worth it to me, if I'm being completely honest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to let my foot break. If you get me in a leg lock, like I'm going to tap, I'm not going to do absurd amounts of steroids. I'm not going to like do the things that a lot of the guys at the top are doing to be there. Is just not worth it to me. I'd rather just enjoy the ride and keep training.
Hell yeah, dude.
Be healthy.
Yeah, that's a battle that a lot of us come to as you get older. It's like I had the same idea in my head too, that I wanted to be a world champion. And I made that decision at 26, which is
yeah,
that's young, but that's late.
Yeah, for jiu-jitsu, it's not young. Yeah, I feel you though. I feel you.
And I was a young blue belt, and then now as I get older, I'm just like, man, it's the guy, like two of the guys that teach here, or that had the little stints, like Owen Jones and Joseph Chen. They're 19 years old.
Bro.
19.
And already so good.
Yeah, they've been training for 4 and 5 years.
It's nuts, dude. It's nuts, the rate of progression with these young guys. And they can train, like, dude, that Joe kid, he literally does every class every day. And like, maybe he's not like sprinting through rounds every single round, but dude, the kid is at every class, bro. I do a 2-a-day and it feels like I got hit by a car.
Yeah.
I'm dreading having to come in and teach fundamentals after a 2-a-day. This kid's like waiting at the door for me to open it, and he's like excited to, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're good competitors too. They're fearless out there. Like Owen is an absolute dog. I didn't even know really who he was, and then he just won trials, and then the next thing I know, he's here. He's super good, super good. They have a different mentality for sure than like most people that you meet. You can tell when they're special,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had Owen on the podcast, and yeah, you can just tell that kid. Yeah.
He's got the dog in him for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I literally sent he just posted a clip, and I sent it to one of my buddies. I was like, hurry up and get this kid already.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, with the whole training thing, it's like, yeah, they're able to put in an absurd amount of sessions. I had Cole Abate on the podcast not too long ago.
Oh, sick.
And he was saying he trains like five times a day.
Madness.
Throughout the week.
Madness.
Yeah, gi and no gi, different depending on the sessions, like privates, like all this stuff. And he's like, yeah. And on Sunday, I'll just do a light run. And I'm like, dude, a light run for me is like, that's like a whole planning thing of in and of itself.
Let's lay on the couch Sunday. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I also find with these kids, a lot of them, they didn't necessarily like if you look at, for example, Joseph, Owen, Nicky Ryan, the Tackets, like they were either homeschooled or didn't finish high school. So like they've been able to dedicate a huge portion of their life to this stuff that I didn't get to, like, if my parents were going to support me doing this, they wanted me to get a degree in college, like, let alone stop in high school. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of it is you have to have a unique situation that allows you to really dive into this at a young age. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Because your body adapts, and like after a certain age, it's harder for you to make these adaptations. Like my flexibility and my mobility is quite poor because of things that I did growing up, like lifting weights like a bodybuilder, or like doing the strength training that we had to do for like football or whatever. It's just bullshit, you know what I mean? But like Joseph got to skip all that, and he's just been doing jiu-jitsu, and his body is like perfect for jiu-jitsu. He can learn any move because he can hit any range of motion. And I feel like that's another reason like Jay is really good. Like he's able to learn quickly because you can show him any move, he can get in that position. I can't do any move. You know what I mean? I've already had like shoulder surgery, knee surgery. Like my body can move in specific ranges of motion. These young kids, they can learn anything, and they just put things together so quickly because of that. There's no limitation. There's no handbrake. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I feel like that helps a ton.
Yeah, my range of motion is definitely limited, and I feel like I do really well because I learned how to use what I have for the positions. You know,
of course.
It's like I get comments all the time that I'm flexible, and I'm like, dude, my hips, bro, they're not.
Yeah,
this is me.
If you saw me try a split, you would not say that. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, you're right. So then Cole Abate was homeschooled. The Rotolo brothers were homeschooled. They were just on the Fighter and the Kid podcast, and they're talking about their life growing up. And you're like, dude, their whole existence is on another level.
Bro, I was in math class. You know what I mean? Like, that's not fair. Dude. Yeah. How am I going to keep up? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I got this little 6-year-old, and she's homeschooled, and you're just like, you know, it's like, man, you don't even know what life was like anymore. Like when I was 6, I was being yelled at for not going home and practicing cursing.
Yeah, bro. It's like,
what is cursing? Why?
Yeah, why did I need that? Oh my God. All I needed was my name. That's the only thing I write in cursive when I sign shit. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, dude.
Hilarious stuff. So dude, so you got the firefighter thing. Are you officially in? Are you still trying to do that?
So I'm gonna apply this weekend, and the academy will start January 6th. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get in because I look good on paper, like master's degree, no felonies. So it's looking good. Just so I'll start January 6th essentially.
And then what is it, like 3 months?
Something like that. I need to look into it some more. I've been like, honestly, my girlfriend's helping me a ton with the whole process, so I can be sort of mindless about it. So, I'm just, whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. I know that I'm gonna maintain my job here, so I'll be training here during the week and doing most of the stuff online, and then I'll be going in on Saturdays and working with them. And I'm not sure what that even entails, but we'll find out soon.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, I've worked with a couple firefighters, and that's like one of the major things that is really cool is that you can manage it with your other.
That's the reason I picked it, because there's no way I'm ready to let go of this. And maybe I just need a little break from competition, and then I can come back and make another run at because it would be a dream of mine to be able to even compete at ADCC, you know. And just right now, I'm just not super interested. I'm more interested in like giving back to my parents and helping out my family and seeing what I can do to like put food on the table, you know, because I've been living off like sponsorships and just scraping by for so long, and after a certain point, you're just kind of like, bro, I need to provide. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. Part of being a man.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, dude. That's gangster. And I know really well 2 successful guys that were firefighters and then chased their dreams outside of it. One of them was one of my first strength and conditioning coaches. He had a CrossFit gym right next to the gym that I trained at. And he was a full-time firefighter and would compete in there's like a firefighting competition where you got to do it's like you got to run upstairs. You gotta like, grab the hose and you gotta run back down. And you gotta hammer this thing, and then you gotta sprint. And it's essentially like
almost like CrossFit, huh?
Yeah. So he had a CrossFit gym, and it's very similar to CrossFit. And he would compete in it, and he was like one of the best, like top 10 firefighters in the world at doing it. And he was a shorter guy, and so he'd always have to compete against these like Mongoloids. And
Mongoloids, I've heard that one.
And it just next level dedication, you know, because he had to, because he was a bit of a smaller guy, but I would work out with him, and he'd kill me every time, and he was super nice to me. Like pretty much taught me for free just because he believed in,
That's sick.
believed in me. And
That's the stuff that motivates me.
yeah,
When somebody's like, all right, we're going to help you out because we believe in you, or even if we just want to help you,
right.
That's the good stuff.
And dude, my very first official MMA coach was a Marine, and he was going through the firefighter school when I met him. And dude, he let me train at his gym for $25. He's like, $25 just to pay for the insurance.
Sick.
He's like, but you're essentially training for free.
Yeah.
And took me under his wing, coached me for some fights, and dude, his name's Corey Bennon, and he might be at the next trials, so I can meet him again. I'm literally, he's like so disconnected from like social media and all that. And it's like one of his co-instructors is like, oh, Corey Bennon? I'm like, he's still around? Yeah, bring him.
It's honestly probably so much better for his mental health. Social media, I feel like, is so unhealthy for you mentally, but fuck, if you're going to have sponsors and like try to make some more passive income, I feel like it's hard to turn it down. You know what I mean? But man, if I could, I would cut it. I feel like it's so bad,
Yeah. One of the Rotilla brothers literally mentioned that. And it's funny. Yeah, I experience the same things. It's nice when I don't have to look at my phone, but because I'm trying to be a personality.
Right, you're doing this, you need it.
I'm the most connected. Well, not only do I have my own stuff that I worry about nonstop, but other people pay me to help them with their stuff. So
yeah,
I'm literally like this all day.
Yeah.
Hurts
your elbow after a while.
Yeah.
That's when you're getting old. You get the tendonitis from holding the phone. Like, oh, geez.
Yeah. Exactly the thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the joke is like, you made it when you can not even pay attention.
Yeah, bro. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. So, dude, like I said, when we rolled, I couldn't do anything against you. You're pretty much just like, I think I at least did a half decent job of not letting you
Dude, to the viewers, he's being super humble. I couldn't get shit going on him either. I absolutely could not finish him. He was super tough. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, I was just like trying to frame you off of me. I was like, how is this human being so strong? I was like, wait, you sure you're a brown belt? But yeah, man. So one of the reasons too I decided to have you on the podcast is like, you're just really nice. And we were like geeking about jiu-jitsu and instructionals the other day.
Oh, for sure.
When we first met, it was funny. I was like getting some recording in for Nicky Rod, and you're like, hey, no recording.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
because dude, if we don't we get in trouble. Because I was working the front desk, so I'm like, if we don't buckle down on that shit, like we get in trouble with Seth, the guy who like owns the gym. So I was like, no. Yeah, it's nothing personal though. I'm just like, I did not want to lose that job. Yeah,
I feel you, dude. But yeah, then after I came back like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and you're just like really nice, and because how like when people get into a crew, it's like all of a sudden they're like better than the regular person.
Oh yeah, no. That's what I like about these guys a lot is none of them treat me any differently than they did when like, for example, like my first month training here probably, and then I did Nogi Worlds. And I lost my second match, and Nicky Ryan still said hi to me and like talked to me, even though we'd met like once or something like that. And it was just like, he was super nice he didn't care, and I've definitely been places where like I wasn't cool enough to sit at the cool kids table like, and they would just like, but like here, they're just not like that. Like Craig's been in my corner when I've lost matches at like very small promotions, and it's like, it's all good. That's one thing I really like about these guys is they don't act like that.
Yeah.
It's a huge turn off, I feel like, for me.
Yeah. No, it definitely sucks to be like, to like want to talk to somebody or to want to be a part of something, and they're just like, yeah, you're not even on the radar.
Yeah, bro. It's like
I thought we were all humans.
Yeah, bro. I could name some names, but I won't. Yeah, but yeah, definitely the guys here have been super cool in that way. So I try to reciprocate the energy,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. When we came in here, Nicky Ryan and Nicky Rod said hi.
Yeah, cool as fuck. Yeah.
So.
Until you roll with Nick Rod, sometimes sometimes not so fun, huh?
Did I make you mad?
Yeah.
Dude, one time, so he was already killing me, and I like at one moment I got to like a deep half. I had a deep half moment. And then he turned it way up after that. I
Yeah.
didn't even do anything. Like he like stepped out and then like got back on top. But then I could just tell he was just like, "Oh, you even thought about doing something?"
Oh
And
yeah,
I was
bro.
like, "Please,
No, please. That's one of my favorite spots in here, deep half, because it's a great place that you can like hide. It's hard to
I'm underneath you."
hard to finish the back take. You can't really high step out. You can't body lock me. So that's a huge part of my game, especially since in the gi, I feel like it's a lot easier to
A lot
use
easier. Yep.
and a lot safer. No gi, I feel like it does have a stigma that it's a bit dangerous. Like you're already halfway to the back, or like you can attack all these kimuras and things. But I find if you can defend crucifix well and you can defend one hook on the back, I feel like deep half and no gi is a great way to like escape worse positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, we're about to geek out about deep half right now. One of the main reasons that I like deep half is that I can get there from bad positions.
It's
like very rarely, I mean, obviously it's beautiful when I pull half right in the deep half and I get a fast sub, or I get right, roll them over and get right to where I want to.
Yeah.
But what I really notice is like the ultimate power is when someone feels like they have me and then they go high on the back and I just tuck my elbow and then all of a sudden I'm in my best position. It's like I just went from being in possibly the worst position to now being on offense.
Flip the script on it.
And that's
tires people out too.
Yeah. And a lot of times too, it's like hard to problem solve in the moment. So
for sure.
If they didn't see it coming, it's like I know I can keep getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I feel like is the power of deep half, is being able to get there from both mount and the back.
Yeah, mount and back. Yeah, for sure. Those are or even like turtle as they're taking my back, or like it's everywhere. If I go like dogfight and they start attacking my neck, whoop, there I go. It's there so much, man. I love that position.
Yeah, it's very good. And then so we were geeking out about instructional. So I noticed that you actually watched some. Which would be your favorite?
Instructional period, like
if you had to pick one.
Oh, that's tough. I'll say for sure like John Danaher's passing instructional, like New Wave Passing 2.0 or something like that. I forget what it's called. Is definitely, that was huge for my development. But right now I'm studying Owen O'Flanagan's leg lock, the UK variant, and I'm finding that to be super beneficial as well. I just, the way that he organized it is super easy to learn, because it's just like a section for each specific like leg entanglement, and then you just hammer through basically all the scenarios of that leg entanglement. And that's another thing that's great about teaching the fundamentals class is if I'm working on something, I'm teaching them. So when you teach people that don't know anything about it, you really find the holes in it, because they're like, oh, what if this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that detail. I would have never picked up on that if I didn't have somebody try it that had never done it. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I think honestly, like, hard to say John's stuff isn't incredible, even though he's on the other team, but I know that Nicky Ryan's Wrestle Up DVD is incredible too. I just find that because I can ask him directly, I don't watch as much of his stuff. And as far as like people who have changed my game the most, I would say like Craig has showed me so much stuff that's probably all over his DVDs, like his leg rides, his pinning philosophies, his so many things, his subs, like his arm triangles and his darces and things like that. Like he's inspired so much of my game. And then like Joseph Chen has helped my game so much, like passing and developing and innovating, and just like not training very conventionally per se. Like we make task-based games instead of like just open training where you kind of go back to your same spots every time. And then Nicky Ryan's like an encyclopedia, bro. You can ask that guy any position and he'll be like, all right, put me there. And then he's going to give you a fucking high quality response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of credit to those guys for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll definitely check some of those out. Yeah. Joseph Chen, I got to train in one of his classes, and yeah, it was just like mind opening on the level of technical ability.
Oh yeah, bro.
It's like, okay, well now I really understand.
The kid knows how to learn.
Yeah.
That's huge, right? Like he learns faster than other people because he's only been training for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's probably the best I've ever seen. Like, don't get me wrong, Craig mauls him, but like put him in there with anybody else. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough day. It's going to be a tough day. That kid's super good.
Yeah, I mean, then you get
Yeah.
he got Nicky Rod with that trip.
Oh, that was dirty, dirty. Nicky Rod definitely returned fire later on, and
Yeah.
it was ugly. But I mean, dude, Joe's trials run where he beat the Mateusz Szczynski, the
Yeah.
Polish guy with the straight ankle,
Langaker.
insane. Who has broken his foot in the past, which is even crazier to me because he fought through. Oh my God, this guy's gonna break my foot again, and beat him, and then he beat Langaker, which is like just a tough guy to beat. He's not going to
Good
tap,
everywhere.
and he's incredible positionally, yeah. And then Taza in the final,
With the crazy back take. Some shit I never
crazy back
seen
take.
before.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because that's the one that's the Henry Gracie lawsuit back take, right? But like he just did it from more of like a quad pod than just like standard turtle, and he exposed like he showed me like. He did it to me a ton in
He did like a
training.
backflip, right? Like he didn't like flip over.
So like basically anytime somebody's on like a single leg or in turtle, he grabs a seatbelt and rolls over the top, and then it's very similar to the Henry Crazy lawsuit back take, but
Dang.
like he definitely has some technical twists on it for sure that are probably different from the Henry Gracie lawsuit. Just funny to reference that.
For those of you who don't know, the Hannah Gracie lawsuit, there was a guy who did the back take from turtle and injured a guy's neck, and it ended up like the payout was like $30 million. So it's like every coach is like now terrified
Of that.
over that happening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the trip that he hit on Nicky Rod. So it's like, yeah, if you're able to hit a foot trip on Nicky Rod, that's something pretty trippy.
If you're brave enough to hit
Yeah.
that on Nicky Rod, you're also crazy because once you score on him, he's gonna definitely try to get that one back, dude. It's gonna be a long day. Huh?
Right. Man, and then I went against Vince Pizzuto. I hope I said that
Oh
right.
man, yeah, the Viking dude.
Yeah.
He's huge.
I didn't even get a chance to go deep
No
dive.
one does, bro. Going with him is it's awful. When he's playing nice with me and he plays guard, it's fun. But yeah, he just squishes everybody. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And he's also getting more technical. And he also wrestled in college as well. So you don't want to stand
Oh,
with that guy either. Like
yeah.
he's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
a
that makes a lot
nightmare.
of sense. 'Cause I'm telling you, yeah, we were going, and I was just like, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, there's nothing there's nothing.
Like, you die now.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels. Yeah, you just get crushed.
Snap. But it seems like he's a cool guy.
Oh, super nice. Yeah, he's like my brother for sure. But
Oh, hell yeah.
definitely not the funnest to train with because he's
Yeah.
just so big and so good. It's horrible.
Yeah, I bet. So I guess, I mean, is he trying to get like ADCC or anything like that?
Yeah, he's definitely competing. And he trains full time. He also likes to have a good time. Guy loves festivals. Yeah, he's just living life, man. Vince is just always happy.
He needs to be at Renfest, right? Like,
dude, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's there, bro. He's like he's super supportive. Like he's always down for the boys. He's in Vegas right now for the UFC Fight Pass.
right.
Yeah,
Fight Pass.
Vince,
I thought you were talking about Nogi Worlds, but you've been talking about Fight Pass. That's right.
Yeah, Fight Pass. Because that's Sunday, December 10th.
Yeah, and they got Nicky Rod on the card, Nicky Ryan on the card, and then
Heisam. Yeah, he's got Mason. It's a crazy one.
Dude, that's gonna be dope. That's
Yeah,
a battle.
I'm excited for that one because don't get me wrong, Heisam's definitely developed his leg lock game since he's been here. But the thing that would worry me for somebody competing against Heisam would be somebody that was just like all they did was leg locks. That would be something to worry about. But Mason, I mean, don't get me wrong, he has leg locks, but I feel like his game isn't based off leg locks. So I feel like if your game isn't completely based off leg locks, that I think Heisam's. I mean, he has a shot either way, but he's such a good athlete. If you try and go like upper body with that guy, good luck. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be super hard to deal with.
Right.
Super hard to take down. Like he's rangy, and I know it's not EBI overtime this time. They're doing an ADCC overtime. So if it comes to like standing with takedowns, dude, Heisam's a dog on the feet for sure.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Hell yeah. And then so yeah, back to the instructionals you were talking about. Yeah, the new wave passing 2.0.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about the Craig Jones and Nicky Ryan. Man.
And I know Joseph just recorded an instructional. I don't think it's out yet. And also when I was filming my instructional, I was with Owen Jones filming he was filming loose passing and reverse close guard. And man, that kid knows some shit. Tell you what, that reverse close guard, I really think that has a potential to change the whole meta of leg locks. Like
Yeah.
I'm super intrigued by that. It was it looked like, because dude, you put somebody in cross ashi, everybody and their mom knows what to do now. Like, okay,
Yeah.
hide your heel, separate the, like, free the secondary leg, shit like that, okay, outside ashi, everybody's seen it, 50-50, everybody's seen it. But this reverse close guard, you put people there and they don't know what the fuck to do.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I think he has so many unique ways of getting there. And also shout out Abe. Abe innovated that a whole lot. They have so many unique ways of getting there that it's like, I think it could change things for sure if people start realizing, like, oh shit, this is a way better way to control and sweep. And then I can also potentially attack the legs and I can go back to my original leg entanglements. It's just, I think it's got a lot of potential to be something that's going to be used a lot more commonly now for sure.
Yeah, no, I've had some success with it. I had a match a while ago against Abe. Abe's a good buddy. He was on the podcast, one of my first guests.
Yeah.
We both have the same one of the same sponsors, so we crashed together a lot at the ADCC. So he's actually a really good friend, and he's a cool dude. But so I've gotten some inside details on the Abe lock, and when I first was scheduled to go against him, I peeped his social media, before he was really posting a lot, and I saw the reverse close guard and what he was doing from there, and I got to get some rounds in it with it, and now it's something that I use like pretty regularly.
It's strong.
Yeah, it's like, dude, if I get a bend in your knee while I'm in close guard, you're fucking
we're going
done.
We're going there. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But I did take Abe to a draw on a combat sports coverage match.
Hey, that's impressive, bro. He's a
never
dog.
taking a match against him again.
Yeah. I don't plan on ever taking one against him. We used to train together a lot in Dallas before we both moved out here.
Dang, so y'all went separate teams.
Yeah, I got in here, and then like probably a week or two into training, one day Craig just comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna do wrestling rounds every day." And I'm like, "What?" And then like from then on, I was kind of like, and that's where you see all these videos of me getting trashed online. Was like my first like year here. I did like 3 to 5 rounds with Craig every day at 8 a.m. and he just wrecked me, dude.
God
just
damn.
like, but in a way that it was like he was helping me, you know what I mean? Teaching me, kind of like took me under his wing, I felt like. And after that, because don't get me wrong, I was definitely intrigued by the prospect of training at New Wave. Obviously I moved to Austin. I would like to, but once he kind of like took me under his wing, I didn't feel like that was an option anymore. So I was pretty much settled in here. And then shortly after that, Abe moved here. And he checked out B Team and he checked out New Wave, and he kind of just settled in at New Wave immediately as well. So it wasn't anything like, oh, I hate you, but like we just went our separate ways. And I mean, if you know us, we have very different personalities. So I think maybe he's a better fit over there, and maybe I'm a better fit over here. Seems like here,
that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot less like structure here. Everybody's just kind of like trying to enjoy life and have a good time and make money. Yeah. And at New Wave, I feel like it's more like we're gonna win. Yeah, and that's all that really matters. And like, good for you. I think if you do train there, eventually you will win. Like, if you follow their recipe, it obviously fucking works. But yeah, I'm happy here. He's happy there. But when we were in Dallas, he was like one of my main no-gi training partners. So we trained together quite a lot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I know how good he is.
Yeah, he's very structured. Very on the intellectual side. So it makes a lot of sense that he likes that place.
Yeah, for sure. And he even before we moved here, he was a huge fan of John and Gordon, and like he was watching all their open guard DVDs, and like his butterfly guard even before he got there was already like super good. He was already doing the arm crunch and the pinch headlock and all that shit. He's always had a super good butterfly guard because he was studying them. So I think he's like more obliged to train with them. Whereas I was more watching like Craig Jones instructionals. I was watching like systematic submission dilemmas and like 50-50 down under, all this stuff. And I really like Craig's funny as shit. Like I like that. I like the fun. For me, like, dude, I wrestled in college and I've been there. The structure, the monotony, the hardcore, like, fuck that, bro. We're gonna go harder and all this. And I just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'd rather enjoy this shit, have fun. Cause you just never know when it's gonna be your last day, man. Like, when I wrestled in college, man, this crazy story. It was like 2 weeks before the regional tournament at the end of the season, and me and my buddy were just burnt, and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna go party. You know, we got drunk, and then like 2 weeks later, we're at regionals. I lost my first match, won my second match. I'm in my third match, and I'm going against this guy from Simon Fraser's, a school in Canada. And we're scrapping. We're in overtime, double overtime. And I'm gassing because I was trashed like 2 weekends ago, and I'm feeling it. And I end up losing the match, super close one. But I basically like gave up because I was exhausted. And I was like, fuck it, you know, I'll be back next year. Doesn't matter, whatever. That guy ended up being an All-American. So I was like that close. And the next year, I blew out my shoulder like first 2 weeks of season. And to be honest, after that, I was never the same. Like, it took a whole year to come back from that. And then when I came back, I still wasn't super comfortable with it yet. Now, obviously, if you roll with me, you would never know that, like, but my point is, you just never know when it's going to be your last go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First 2 weeks at brown belt, I go to Nogi Worlds, I get third. And then like, I'm thinking, all right, whatever, I'll do Worlds next year. I'm going to be back on, dude, haven't been back on the podium since. You just don't know when it's going to be your last or your day even, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
just got to take advantage every time you can.
I was thinking about that with ADCC as I was like go through my head of just like how people are doing and where they're at. And it's like, man, there's so many guys that win trials and then just don't win it again. And it's like, it almost like, it's like, you would think winning trials, you'd be on top of the world.
Yeah,
and
bro.
then there's so many trials winners who just never even get back to the top 8 again.
Yeah, bro. It's
like,
crazy, especially in America. American trials are so crazy. Like you think Jay's most recent trial run, I don't think he medaled. But 2 years before, he smoked it. Beat everybody by sub. It's crazy. And not to say Jay's not going to qualify again. I'm sure he will.
I'm sure he will, yeah.
Such a beast, and he's gained weight and he's improved so much. Like, I'm sure he'll get back. But like, you know, it just, like you said, clean submissions all the way through, and then the next time, no medal. It's like, it's crazy how it can just happen like that. And Couch, you could say like the opposite, you know, like he didn't win it.
It did not look like he was going to win.
And then he smoked it this year, dude. Friggin' subbed everybody, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just never know.
No one would have pegged Jacob Couch winning it with a submission.
Yeah, especially with like Elder Cruz in the division and like William Tackett and like Jay.
Someone should have put odds on that. Like, what were the odds of that happening?
Yeah, I'm sure in his mind, pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, from the outside looking in, I mean, sure, if you told me he was going to be on the podium, I wouldn't be like, nah, you know, but like, did I think he was going to get through it? And I thought either Tackett was going to win that or Elder Cruz or,
right.
I'm missing some names for sure. Or Jay, for sure. I thought Jay had a shot. But I did not think Couch was taking that. Does that rule set, I feel like, favors guys with a good wrestling background.
Right,
not that Couch doesn't have good wrestling. I'm sure he does. He's just a tank of a man. He's so strong and stuff. But you just don't expect he seems, when he competes, majority of the time he does leg locks. And ADCC, you don't often see those guys win in the trials. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, I didn't see it coming for sure.
Yeah.
But good for him. Good for
I got to roll with Jacob Couch when he had just won title at Blue.
Yeah.
And he came to my gym and we got to roll, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he's been a friend, so I'm really happy for his success.
Yeah, spent a lot of time with him at Daisy Fresh when I lived there for 5 months. He's actually a big part of the reason I got out there. We were exchanging DMs, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm living in the gym," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he like sent me a video of him, like his bed on the floor at Daisy Fresh, and he had moved this TV onto the mats, and he was just playing Xbox. He's like, "Yeah, man, it's great." And I was like, "What the hell?" And then he's actually the one that set me up with Heath, and he was like my invite, my key in the door, I guess. So yeah, Couch and I got really close out there for sure. He's a good dude.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's like it's like I get the name drop a legend. I'm like, yeah, I went toe to toe with Jacob back when he was a blue belt. It was pretty competitive.
Right.
Snap. No, you brought up how Joseph Chen likes the task-based games, and I got to do that in one of his classes. And then obviously, about standard jiu-jitsu and how they're coming up with that whole
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not that they came up with it, but they're just kind of like,
I mean, I steal a lot
pushing
of
it.
their shit too. I watch their YouTube videos.
Yep,
DeAndre
yep.
Corbett has been just killing it, and I've been seeing it, and I'm like, where's he training? Okay, what's he doing?
Did I don't know if it's Corby or Corbet. I've heard both.
No,
But,
forgive me.
I watched him have an hour and 45-minute match at purple belt against a tank of a man named I don't remember his name, but Thurman. His name's Thurman.
Yeah.
Big, muscular black dude who is a terror. Like this dude trains all the time.
Yeah.
And they had an hour 45-minute match at a sub-only tournament, dude. And that was when I first heard of. I was like, who is this tiny little dude?
Yeah.
Who is putting it to Thurman right now?
Yeah.
Literally, like Thurman would just crush people. He's like,
I'm so impressed with his passing, DeAndre. Like I watched him at I believe it was Enigma. Yeah, that bracket was crazy.
Dude, he passes the same way every time.
And he just smashes everyone from half guard, top half guard. It was super I've tried to steal things from him for sure. He's super impressive, man. Super impressive.
What I took from that is that passing with double underhooks is the way to go. If you can get double unders from chest to chest, there's no way that you're holding me with your legs. And you would think that that's obvious, but it's just like sometimes it just gets lost when you're learning all these different passes.
Yeah.
But now, ever since watching, because I did the whole breakdown of the entire tournament.
Yeah.
And that was the number one thing I noticed is like, one, he's not doing necessarily any passing move. He's just systematically trying to get to the same thing, which is chest on chest with double underhooks, and then passes from there. And then just like does like whatever a leg pummel or shin pummel. Like,
uses his free leg to free his trapped leg. If you listen to their YouTube videos, fucking what's the coach's name? Souders?
GD Souders.
Yeah, he says that. And I'm like, dude, that's if you watch my fundamentals class, I say the same fucking thing.
Right.
Pin them, crossface underhook or double underhooks, chest to chest, and use your free leg to free your trapped leg. And it's like, it's so simple. You could explain that to a 5-year-old that's never trained, and like if they speak English, then they're gonna figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like it's crazy how you did it. The hardest part of it, I think, is making all the positions sound that simple, because you can't really for example, like if we're playing guard, at least in my mind, I don't have like if I was telling you to pass guard, I would say that, you know what I mean? Let's look to get chest to chest with at least one underhook. Better if we get two, but chest to chest with an underhook, use the free leg to free the trapped leg. If I was going to explain guard, it's like, well, we could talk about like closed guard, the De La Riva guard, half guard, deep half guard. There's like even butterfly half guard, butterfly guard. It's like
squid guard.
What do I say? How do I make this a task-based game that's simple for somebody to understand?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why my guard isn't where it should be, but like, that's like for real. I feel like it's so hard to simplify all the aspects of grappling.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've been listening to a lot of the Souders and stuff, and it's like now I'm saying make and maintain connections all the time.
Yeah. That's so important though. It's so important. So important.
It's like stay connected to me, because it's so funny. Like when you roll with blue belts, they're like disconnecting all the time. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go from this, and then they'll just randomly go to a random different guard. Like, if you let go of me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Quit letting go of me.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Right? And so now it's like that fundamental of making and maintaining a connection. It's like now I have 4 or 5 words to describe like one of the most important fundamentals in all of jiu-jitsu. Whereas before I'd be like trying to like, hey man, you gotta quit letting go of me. You might be able to do this or this, but quit.
Yeah.
And then now it's like the way that you say that, you're leaving room for them to come up with their own ways of doing that.
Yeah.
Instead of just a specific way that you're saying.
Got it. Yeah. You can't leave it open for interpretation or they'll run wild with it.
Yeah. And so I'm a head coach at Underworld Jiu-Jitsu now. It's one of the affiliates of the Dark Side. And I try my best to do games. I do, it's hard to do like, because I have a lot of like really, really beginners and not a lot of people yet. So I have like a really small group. So I still show them stuff to kind of like,
ultimately, I think you have to show them stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to show them. Like if you just tell people like, all right, seated versus standing, they're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
You have to show them like what connections they want to make. You know what I mean? I think you ultimately do still have to teach them stuff. But I think if you get too caught up in drilling techniques, and like even when we drill, I try to explain, I'm like, look guys, you can't just be a limp body. and just fall. Like that helps neither of you. But you also can't be a dickhead and like not let the guy do the move he's learning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this fine line. And I found in wrestling, it was some guys really got it. And some guys, it was like drilling was like live.
Yep.
And it was like, that's not what you want. You want drilling to be drilling, but it's not just me versus a dummy. It's like we're moving with the correct reactions without using strength per se, you know? And then live is where we're implementing intensity and like strength, speed, whatever you want to, but like drilling, we still need to react correctly. So even in here, I'm like, we're drilling, but really we're like flowing through positions. Cause they do ultimately have to learn. You can't just be like, okay, pass.
You'll learn.
Yeah. Like what? They're not gonna, you have to show them like, okay, underhook. Yeah. This, you want
Captain Insano shows no
yeah,
mercy.
exactly. Yeah. So you got to teach them something, but like,
no, like when, I tried to really just dive in and be all that, but just as being a coach, it's like I feel like a responsibility to show them things because they want it. It's like not everyone just wants to learn the art of grappling necessarily. Right?
Yeah.
Like some people are there to just learn a new skill.
Yeah.
And using live resistance the entire time they're learning is like not very beneficial.
Not beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I got a young girl. She's a YouTuber, does like a whole bunch of gun training and stuff. And, it's like, I can just tell she's better off like at least practicing some set of moves first so that she can kind of get a grasp on like what
I think anybody is, dude. I honestly, otherwise DVDs wouldn't sell. You know what I mean? Like instructionals wouldn't sell if people didn't have to initially learn something,
Right.
At a certain point, I do think you're like beating a dead horse, if you will, but like.
Yeah. So it's essentially just kind of like, there's no one way that's the right answer. It's just a balance of both.
And everybody's different too. Like I got a friend, Michael Salazar. He's like one of the no-gi coaches at Legion. He can see something and then boom, he's got it.
Yep.
He doesn't really have to drill it. Where for me, I'm going to have to drill it a bunch to even like make my body move that way.
Right.
And then I can start trying it on like blue belts. And then I can start trying it on like better guys. You know what I mean? But some people can just like, and they've got it. They've such good body control and they understand this shit on a different level. But I'm not one of those people. I need to, for example, when I went to Daisy Fresh and they were trying to teach me their like patented knee cut, like the Andrew Wiltsey Daisy Fresh knee slice. Bro, we counted. I did 5,000 of them and I didn't start getting them to Andrew's level of approval until like I was like 2,000 in. You know what I mean? It was just like, honestly, I don't know if that was like poor explanation or like what, because now I can show it to people and they're like, got it right away. I'm like, okay, maybe they just didn't explain it very well, but like, it takes me forever to get new movements down, like.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, the age thing plays a part too. Young kids, man, they kind of just like figure stuff out in a weird way. But now I had this moment where, I've been like super heavy into the whole ecological thing. I'm like,
oh, dude, same.
Because I had the experience when I was, it just came to me one day. I was like out in nature and thinking a lot about jiu-jitsu, and it just like came to me. I was like, people are way too focused on techniques.
Yeah.
And I really saw that too because I was in the middle of nowhere in Myrtle Beach, and so the only like cool like leg locks or like anything from the meta that you would say that we would get is like on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then it was just like this thing like, oh, do you know the honey hole? Or oh, do you know the 50-50 inside heel hook?
Yeah.
And it's like this thing that was just always like, oh, do you know this position? Do you know this move? Do you know this? And I was just like, man, I think all of us are way too focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was hard to explain to people. Like I knew that the knowledge that came to me that day was like, there's a different way that we're supposed to go about this. I just couldn't explain it. And people were like, man, you smoke too much weed. And then GD Souter started coming out and he started talking about it. I was like, it just really resonated with me. And so then I started leaning heavy to it. But then I had this experience where it was like, I got two 15-year-olds and they're friends. They're like best friends. And so they literally just want to fight each other all day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. So like when I'm drilling if I just start them in a game, it's like all of a sudden they're like fighting.
Yeah. It's,
so I'm like, man, the last thing that I need right now is for these kids to get hurt. And they don't want to stretch. And so I'm like, I'm just the drilling is at least a way for them to start moving and kind of like sweating.
They're not competing yet. Yeah, it's tough.
And they're too young to play. Like,
yeah,
you know, when neither one of them wants to lose to the other person.
right.
So,
It's like ego driven.
no matter how many times it's like, hey guys, just use the game to warm up. It's like life or death.
100%.
So then I was like, okay, well now I'm going to use this drilling as a way to get them warmed up so that at least I know that they went through the motions and they're not going to pull a hammy or something.
Yeah.
So I started doing the drilling and dude, one of them was able to hit the move on the other one in the very same session.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay.
There's definitely something to this.
Yeah. There's
well,
like,
if you look at wrestling rooms, bro, you drill for the majority of you're not going live for the majority of the practice. You're drilling. But again, it has to be like good drilling.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. People get crazy. Even in my fundamentals class, the way that I scare them is I'm like, all right, guys, we're gonna start with games, but you got 45 minutes of this, so pace yourself, you know, and then people like calm the fuck down. Cause initially they would just be like, you'd know who your spazzes were because they came out and just killed themselves in the first 3-minute round, and then they were having to sit out for way before class was over. And I'm like, well, guys, maybe if you just listen to what I said, you know, use the techniques, don't be crazy. You're supposed to lose here. You're supposed to try new things. If you do the same things over and over, you're just going to show up to battle with a sword and shield, and other people are going to start showing up with ARs, dude, and you're fucked because they worked on new shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's like you got to get out of those spots that you're super comfortable in and work new stuff. Otherwise, you're not going to get better. And when you do that, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And
so it's like even if you do the task-based games, like even learning how to play is like a whole thing in of itself.
Totally got to learn how to play. That's definitely a thing for sure.
And I got an 11 and a 12-year-old, and they're brothers.
Yeah.
So it's even more intense. Like, these two are just trying to like,
they're trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Who can hurt the other one?
Because they're going to bring it up at dinner. You know what I mean? Or like, or in front of their friends. They're going to be like,
and I showed them something and they were able to do it. And it's like, okay, so you can't say that drilling's worthless because these.
Yeah, no, definitely not worthless.
These kids are learning it, you know?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I just really, it was like, for me, games are perfect for me because I know how to control myself and I know how to play with someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you don't know how to play and you don't have any sense of control, then a game just still is like way too broad.
And I think the other thing that we do at B Team that makes it safer training is the first 3 rounds are usually positional, and the positions are not good ones. It's like mount, back, turtle. When you start your first round in bottom mount, you have to be a different kind of crazy to be like competing with this guy from bottom mount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course you're trying to not get finished, but bro, you should lose from that position. And I think it like removes the ego from the beginning, and then you're more susceptible to like trying new things after that because you're like, okay, well, he just triangled me a shitload of times, but we started in mount. So it's like, okay, yeah, you start to put it together. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I'm going to get triangled sometimes and it's okay. You know?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
You're one of the coaches at B Team, which is like a possible achievement for most people that are out there, maybe on the audience. So what would be your piece of advice for an athlete looking to improve their jiu-jitsu?
Man, honestly, a routine is going to be super beneficial. Like having like a specific time that you go to bed, having a specific time that you train, eating specific things, like not like staying in your routine will make you less reliant on discipline. And then I think with that consistency over time, you're going to improve at a faster rate. But another thing is you definitely need to study, especially in your weak spots, and you have to get in those positions in training. You have to, like, losing in training is necessary to improve. You need to, like, for example, right now I'm trying to work on my guard and my leg locks. So granted, when I go with the guys that are way better than me, I'm trying to compete. So I'm using my things that I'm already good at. Like I'm wrestling with Nicky Ryan. I'm not going to pull guard on Nicky Ryan. He's going to mow through it. But I'll go to the other side of the room and I'll find some blue belts and some purple belts and I'll try my new stuff. You have to do that. I think you need some rounds where you're able to impose your will. You need some rounds that are like super competitive, like a competition, and you need some rounds where you're just getting absolutely smashed. That would be my advice for
Heck
sure.
yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Uh, yeah, like I said, people have brought up consistency as a way to, I guess, one of the key features to get good at something. But yeah, having a routine is like something that you need to have consistency.
Yeah.
So man, that's like a little micro breakdown of that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I just remember one of the things I wanted to bring up is just like you made a really good point about how when you're teaching something and then you show it to a new person, that they come up with a whole hole that you didn't even realize
Yeah.
because it's like obvious to you.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had that experience so many times where it was like I showed someone something and then they're like struggling with a certain piece or they ask me about it and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't really explain this to you guys, but yes, this is going to make it really important. Like I'm going to talking about like a shoulder throw by and it's like, you know, like I'm hitting the pieces that I think are important, but to them, they've never done it, so
Yeah.
they're thinking of it in a whole different way.
Different holes. Yeah,
So,
for sure. I think that's also huge for progression is teaching. I think that's helped a ton with me developing techniques and understanding like why things work is teaching it to two people that have never done it. And they might not, the uke might not react in a certain way. And you're like, oh shit, what if he does that? You know what I mean? It's just stuff that, like you just said, stuff you don't think about because it's obvious to you.
Yeah. I've said it before. It's like if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, see if you can teach the kids class. There's always a lot of places allow blue belts or purple belts to teach a kids class,
Yeah.
or even be an assistant instructor.
Yeah.
And just like you got to break it down Barney style for a kid to understand.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
so if you can break it down Barney style for a kid and get them to emulate what you're saying, then you have at least some grasp of how to use your words to explain the technique.
For sure.
But dude, man, I really appreciate you coming on. JB, it was great having you on. We literally did a whole hour and I thought it was 30 minutes.
Easy.
That's the best kind of conversation. And I just want to put it out there that the reason I had you on, man, is not only are you a beast at jiu-jitsu, but you were just extremely nice. It was like,
appreciate it, man.
You know, that's like a trait that I want to one day embody where people meet me and they're just like, yeah, that was a nice guy. Cause you know, it's like hard to do that. It's hard to emanate like that you care, that you're nice to someone. Cause sometimes you're just busy in your own day or all the shit you got going on.
For
and
sure.
I know you're busy. You're you could have easily just like not say a word to me and be on the cool side, but you were just like, hey Scotty, dude, how you been? Good to see you. And I was like, you're a friend?
You're my friend? Yeah. Well, likewise, you're super nice too, bro. Super easy to talk to.
Thank you, dude. And I appreciate everyone checking out. Dude, give your sponsors a shout out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Evertitan HRT for trying to keep up with these young cats. Shout out Fight Aesthetic and shout out B Team.
And you got a new instructional coming out?
Yeah, new instructional silver medal slide wise on BJJ Fanatics. That should be dropping in like 3 weeks or so. I'll check my Instagram at jbear174. I'll be posting all about it.
Yeah, he's obviously a beast at wrestling. Used to wrestle in college. I pulled guard. I felt your hand fighting, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to get the deep half. But man, I got to be here at the B Team and interview one of the best guys. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it,
guys.